Welcome to the Aiki Dojo Podcast. I am David Ito, Chief Instructor of the Aikido Center of Los Angeles. I have a special guest today, Pepe Jesus Garcia, President of Spain Aikikai. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you've been doing Aikido since 1978?
Yes, I did. That's
1978. And you studied in Japan.
yes.
So you studied with some of the great Aikidoists, the golden age, what is called the golden age of Aikido, right?
Yeah, maybe we could cover that.
So, did you study Aikido before you went to Japan?
Well, I first went to Japan before that, a year before, in 1977. And then I decided to study Japanese and study Aikido. So I first went to Japan before starting Aikido. And then came back to Spain, started learning the language, learning Aikido for a while, and then I went to Japan again.
Well, what made you want to study Japanese culture and Aikido and Japanese?
Well, it's something that I felt, since I was a child. I liked a lot, this Chinese or Japanese culture, the images, all this Far East, things. And everything I could read or I could know about that, it was something that interested me a lot since childhood. And when I was about 13, 14 years old, I thought of studying languages, studying Chinese. First, I didn't know exactly how to differentiate between China and Japan, but Chinese or Japanese. And then when I was 17, I met a couple. He was Spanish, she was Japanese. And it was my chance to know to get near the culture, near the language. And he started learning the language and reading more and more, learning the customs.
How much Japanese did you know before you moved to Japan?
Well, enough to leave enough, because I was teaching languages there, so I have to present the languages in Japanese. So, it's not explaining language, but presenting language in the method I follow. So the meaning, I should know beforehand, So as well, I was studying for maybe 3-4 years before knowing.
Oh, well, she should know quite a bit of Japanese.
Spoken, that is not really writing.
And then how long after you went to Japan did you start studying Aikido there?
Well, I started in 1978. Then I went to Japan in 1982 and was there for 3 years or so, till 1985.
And did you exclusively study at Hombu Dojo?
Mostly, 90%. Then I discovered that the David Sensei had his dojo quite close to my house.
How
Yokohama. It was just the next station. I know that. And it was really, so I went there and became his student also, and tried to go 2 to 3 times a week. And I went every day to Hombu Dojo and these 2 dojos, not more. Or you Hombu Dojo.
So you started with Yamaguchi Sensei, Seigo Yamaguchi?
Yes.
What was Seigo Yamaguchi like?
Difficult to say. For me, was a giant, I would say, in Aikido. It was so great, so impressive that, I was, something that I couldn't understand, but there was I felt a great attraction, which is way of doing Aikido, the atmosphere of the Keiko, just really interesting and really attracting, So little by little, I went every week I went to his classes, to his Keiko, and what for me was the highest sensei. So
Did you ever take his ukemi?
Well, a few times. Yes.
What was that like?
Well, it was, I don't explain exactly what, because I couldn't understand what happened. So it's like, it was like lightning. So when you went to attack him and you were on the tatami, it was really fast and really, it's like a lightning. So strong, but at the same time, it felt like great power, but very, very soft.
Yeah, it's the movement, it seems as if it's slow. When you watch video, it doesn't seem like, it'd be like lighting molasses. It's like so slow but fast, but it doesn't seem fast.
It doesn't seem, but what you feel means what you see. You were down and you were unbalanced and it was really something. This is what I felt. Really, astonishing, I would say. It was my first contact.
How many times a week did you take his class?
At least one, maybe twice or a few times if I could, because he has Mondays and Tuesdays at home dojo, so I tried to go both classes.
What was his personality? I mean, was he nice? Is he mean, strict?
I couldn't, because I met him. I had a few chances to talk to him for a few seconds, not so much. Yeah. And it was I'd say a great personality, something that the thing I felt is that I felt attraction. It was a kind of magnetic, to see his face, to see his movement, to see him around the tatami. It was something really interesting.
Someone told me, I don't know if this is true, that often when he taught fast, he had the bokken, holding the bokken or the bokken in his fingers.
Yes. Bokken was showing how he moving the bokken, and then he will show you without bokken, but grabbing the bokken at the center. Yeah.
But was that to illustrate the sword connection to Aikido movement?
Of course. I think in his case was very, I heard that he practiced Kendo before doing Aikido. So maybe there was a great influence there. Of course, he was always, even if he didn't have the bokken, but cutting, always moving as well. So if he had the bokken.
All with his hand?
Yes.
Like when you talked about the ude, and then they got something on that hand is like the arm is like a sword.
Yeah. And then when you don't have the bokken, because bokken you grab it, and you don't have the bokken, you have two bokkens. I don't know. This is what you discover. If the bokken disappears, you have two arms, two bokken. Oh, you can use your sword.
What? Because his movement doesn't seem very big. It seems kind of, it seems actually really small, like very minute.
Yeah, not so, tall, I would say. But when he was in the tatami, looked different. Looked very wider, I would say. But sometimes when you were in front of him, and even when he had the bokken, he disappeared. It's like, when we are practicing, there's the horizontal and the vertical point of view. And he was very, I had the chance of being in a seminar, not at the Hongo Dojo, it was in Kamakura, and he was using the bokken. And if you were in front of him, the feeling is that he wasn't hiding behind the book, or hiding behind, and something, so just the sense of the feeling that it was.
Yeah, because they say that when you're in the zone in baseball, the ball becomes really, really big. So perhaps when he engages you with the sword, somehow he makes the sword seem very big to you.
Maybe that. Yeah, and my feeling, what I felt is that he was hiding behind the bokken. There was no sense, even when you went to attack, and it was like that. Yeah. I had only that once. Of course, I didn't have many chances to. Yeah.
Yeah, because you look at not everyone. A lot of people are trying to copy his style today. I don't. And for me, when I look at Yamaguchi Sensei's style, that's like a 1%er, maybe 0.01. And, most people will never really get there. But I don't know because I never took his class when I went to Hombu. I started going to the dojo in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So I never took his class. My teacher, Furu Sensei, he took his class and would rave about it and talk about how there was just this electricity wanting to touch them. And then you find yourself on the ground, you find yourself wrong. But that's just a conceptual thing. You think, oh, well, then he zapped you with his, something is, because there are people, when you see the videos, so you see it totally different as you feel. You think something, or, it's completely different. And you have to be with him in the company, otherwise it's too difficult to understand what he did. Did you ever take Hisaburo Osawa Sensei's class?
Yes, every week or so I went to his class.
He was Furu Sensei's main role model. That's Hisaburo Osawa Sensei is the reason why Furu Sensei became a Zen priest.
I see.
Yeah. Oh, and so he was so inspired by him so much that he followed that Zen lineage, and then
she was. Osawa Sensei was, for me, inspiring in a different way. It was a very different way.
Yeah, Osawa Sensei seems like the no touch more. The techniques are like considered no touch, and this Yamaguchi Sensei is more of the connection.
Yeah. He wanted people to be sincere, to be real. If you didn't affection, very sincerely and very good. Well, yes, we'll never call you or will. And he was around, walking around the Tosami, and sometimes he was in front of you. He will never tell you anything. But if he was in front of you, you have to go and attack. Yeah. Otherwise, he will live. Very interested.
That's kind of intense because
yeah. It was because you were with your partner and the partner maybe it's in the tatami, and then he was back and was exactly in front of you. So at that time, even without inviting you to do that, it was really interesting.
Wow, that's kind of it. But so there's so many interesting instructors at Hombu Dojo during your time. How many classes a day would you take?
Well, usually because I had to work. So I usually had 1, 2, if I could 3 times, but at least 1, because I went 7 days a week.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah.
So, and I had to, and I was living far from the Hombu Dojo. My last period, I was living in Kamakura. Yeah, but at least 1 before.
What was it like going into Hombu Dojo that first time as a foreigner? Like Yoshida Sensei, Glenn Yoshida Sensei interviewed, he said the very first day Shibata Sensei beat him up. What was your first day like?
I don't remember. I was a white belt. Oh, because maybe 99% of the foreigners there were all with Hakama. So I understand they were Yulacha. And I remember only one person was my friend. He died this year, suddenly. He's a man from Finland, Matti Johansson. And then we were the only 2 people, not black belt. Yeah, we were more than shot. And, we were, so I was, they wouldn't call you till you are, you have your Hakama. Beginner.
Just, they don't beat up beginners. They'll just and then you also took Endo Sensei's class.
Yes.
What, while you were at Hombu Dojo during that time, you went to a lot of Endo Sensei classes?
Yes. I think I didn't lose one of his Wednesday's classes.
And then today you follow Endo Sensei.
Yeah. Now,
what is the difference between Endo Sensei then and Endo Sensei now?
Well, she was younger. and he was more energetic, more, I would say, athletic. This kind of great the dynamism that was really strong in him. And I would say that it's impossible for me to judge because, I'm always below him, So he has an evolution. I also have mine, but always here. And I will never be here. So it's difficult to explain how, but my impression is that he was at that time a little harder, not harder, soft, but not so soft as he's now. And he is becoming softer and softer. So, every year when I touch him, it's always more and more and more soft.
What was the reason why you decided to follow Endo Sensei?
Well, there were different reasons. One is that he was the only sensei at the Humble Dojo who practiced with everybody in the class. So he showed the technique in the classes, and then he started going around. Later on, many years later, he told me that he heard or read from O Sensei that if you practice with 10,000 people the same technique, then you will understand this. Because any single individual is different. How they attack, how they will do. So practice the same thing with 10,000 people. You know what in Japan they say, ichiman.
Yeah.
Ichiman.
But I'm just trying to do the mental math of how many classes you'd have to take to have done this technique 10,000 times.
Well, what is that? Because he used to come to Europe, many different countries. And once he was rounding, he said, in these past 3-4 months, I could go to some 1,000 people. And
but that's a very interesting concept for people who, like myself, primarily teach. Like, I rarely get a chance to take a class.
Mm-hmm.
I live 1 hour away from my dojo. So when I come in, I usually teach a class. Well, to me, to do 10,000, I don't know how many times I've done Shilabage over, because I've been doing Aikido for 33 years. So you'd have to it's not doing Shilabage 10,000 times, but Shilabage with 10,000 people.
That's the interesting thing. He was going from country to country. Even in Japan, he's doing seminars in many cities, and he was the only one who almost to it. I would say 100% of the people in the class he was practicing with. Still else to know he still goes around and showing, feel. He said he wanted to feel everybody, to be touched by everybody, to be, this is really interesting.
It was interesting that you were commenting at lunch today that Endo Sensei is a consummate researcher.
Yeah. Yes.
That's something that I find very interesting because we were also talking about how teachers tend to get on their phones and then they never really grow from that point.
Yeah, there are many, many teachers when they come to a high level, and they really are in a high level. And then maybe they stay there and don't move. And there's no evolution, no continuing studying more or researching more, And for me, Endo Sensei is the researcher. It's a kind of, it's like you have a laboratory and you are testing all the time, anything, all the time. So it's when I meet him from, just some few months or 1 year, then you discover new things, always new things, new details, new, I would say, nuances, subtle things. Sometimes he will show you, sometimes you have to discover what's the new things. And even he asks you, did you feel something different? And sometimes say, no. It's like,
Well, when you say researcher, are you talking about like movement research, or like he was studying a Shinto book and then something came to his mind, or he saw a yoga text and then something came to mind?
I think, many times he says that he is reading and rereading many times the Sensei's words. And he tries to understand exactly what he meant, what he was his feeling, what was it, this is something. So, of course, he said he read and listened to some people. Then he tried to adapt or do things, according to this.
Do you know what book he reads Sensei's teachings from? Well, yeah, that'd be good to know to buy and then start doing your own test on it. But yeah, but that's a very interesting point because, especially for people who are just starting out as instructors, they tend to dominate and then sit on top of their thrones. But what you're saying is that someone like Endo Sensei, who's been doing Aikido for, 60, 70 years, because he's 80 now, so it's at the very least years. Right? And then that person isn't trying to sit on top of their throne. They're trying to climb up to the next one on whatever ladder he is.
Yeah, no, keeps always moving, trying to understand things, the same things, but with different point of views or different things. And really you feel that because you see, something changed, something's different. And all the time, he's the same sensei. He doesn't change. But what he does, he's doing, is there are so little changes, little things. Sometimes not little, big things, But so for me, it's a great research.
But that's really inspirational.
Yes.
Because most times people today, they're just trying to add things to Aikido. Oh, let's add Krav Maga. Let's add Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But someone like Endo Sensei, who's who we consider to be at the top of Aikido, says to himself, I need to relook at this technique. I need to relook at Sensei's writings to try to understand this thing. And then maybe he goes, I think I'm a little bit wrong. It's this way, and tweaks it. And then he goes to his laboratory, tries it out. But most of us are like, nope, it's only this one way.
And sometimes when we are talking, maybe you are drinking or and then he's inspired and he's talking and say, oh, wait, and he will try at that time.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. Yeah. He would like to.
He's like, put that burger down.
So that's why he's dojo in Sako. There's a place to drink and to eat and so on, but the family is close. And just sometimes say, oh, let's go there. Yes, really interesting.
Yeah, that is. For me, as being an instructor, that's very inspiring. To have that humility to look. That you go, well, no, my ego doesn't allow me to look, but to have the humility to say, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe there's something else out there, without just, wiping the board clean and going off to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You go, maybe there's something deeper in here. Let me go down this rabbit hole. Let me look at this book, and that most people don't want to do that.
And he changed 180 degrees. Big change when she got elected in Kenya, and she broke his. Oh yeah, it's called and he went to hospital and she thought she would lose. He couldn't become a professional Aikido sensei, and he had a visit of Garcia Sensei and Yamaguchi Sensei, and he wrote that in his book. And he said that he changed completely after.
How old was he when that happened?
No, he was young at the time, or young, yeah. And then he changed his way of seeing Aikido, doing Aikido, everything. And he many times says. And so he followed what we call that the soft way of doing. And he said it was Yamaguchi point of view. I was the way he came back to the humble dojo, he always kept going to his classes. Yamaguchi's class.
Then we were talking about hard versus soft styles. You equated it to a tree. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, well, the thing is that the image I have about Endo Sensei, about his Aikido and his disciples, his student, is that he's like a trunk, the trunk of a big tree. And then all the roots are coming from different schools, Jiu-Jitsu, Kenjutsu. Yeah, he tried out of, I read somewhere, I mean, he tried about 30, not different, with all that different schools. And he was looking for something from what he said later, the real Udo. And then his students, I see them as branches, big branches, coming from the Deshi thing. So she's Deshi at what they are. Because when someone is teaching and there are a group of people learning from him, not everybody will learn exactly the same. Not anybody will catch or learn the same points, the same things. Maybe you will catch something, you will see something, and maybe you like more, or what you, it's what you think it is, because there's an interpretation. You are trying to understand what he's doing. And everybody will have maybe different ideas, different ways. So branches are coming in different directions. Sometimes they go in completely different directions. It looks as if they were opposing. So sometimes maybe some Deshi went this way and some Deshi went this other way. But they are coming from the same trunk. And they get the nourishment from the roots, from the trunk, and it's going like. So for me, it's this way. But maybe you will the sun is coming, the sun rises, and then you get the sun in the morning. The other will get the sun in the evening, and there is maybe a different evolution. But if you are alive, if you are getting the nourishment from the trunk, from the roots, how to say, it's good, acceptable, but maybe you don't like this way, I like that way, or this way, or that. But all these Aikido and all these perfect.
But that's a very nice way to put it, that, the trunk of the tree is Endo Sensei's foundations. The roots are all the things that he tried and studied. And then the branches, which go all these different directions, encompass all these different places, people, things, and then they can be on opposing sides, but still come from the same trunk. That's really nice. The thing is that, I don't like people who, like not people, but what they say about how my sensei is the best in the Aikido of my sensei is that, and I say, this is what you like. I like this Aikido. This English Aikido is not better or worse. It's different. And it's like eating, maybe you like meat or fish. And which is better, fish or meat? You couldn't say that. And then you have fish. Which kind of fish? And we talked about hadrich or octopus, and then you like even inside the fish or seafood. There are a lot of possibilities, it's a variety of things. And you choose what you like. That's all. It's better, not, there are vitamins, proteins, doesn't matter. That's a very nice way to put it. Well, this is a question I ask everyone. Today, you've been doing Aikido since 1978. What do you do today to still train yourself?
Well, I try to learn my own way, because I learned from different senseis. Then I chose one, and for me, it's the reference. It's my inspiration is coming from me. But I want to have my own Aikido. I have my own personality, my own, character. And, So I want to, to learn anything from him and then see how I absorb, it's like food, I eat and we all eat, but we are different, and we are eating the same thing. So what I say that you little by little, it should be your own Aikido, not imitating exactly, trying to copy exactly what your sensei. There is a time when you do that. There's a time, maybe many years, where you try to do exactly what he's doing. But then little by little, it's like kind of relaxing. You relax and then you feel, you let that learning enter yourself and see what happened. So this is what I try to let into how I feel, how I live, how I do, how my Aikido comes out. I don't know. This is maybe the goal, to be myself.
Does Endo Sensei encourage? Well,
I think so, yes. Because he's always asking us, and that you should know exactly what you do. And he always say, ask why all the times, to anything you do, to anything you learn, to anything. Because maybe I understand, but you are trying to do what I do and you don't understand. First, of course, you have to copy him or maybe to imitate him, but then you have to look for the answer. You have to look for your own answer, that you understand, really understand what you are doing. This is maybe what he is trying to say to us.
But yeah, that's such a nice sentiment from your teacher that will allow you to come to your own understanding.
Yeah, he says. And once he made a T-shirt with the word why. So it is in order not to forget that you should keep asking yourself why. It's a doshite all the times. So anybody will, people who come to his seminars know the word doshite. Because why? Why this happened? Why? Try to understand, try to feel, try to do it by yourself and see if it works. When it works, why it works. When it doesn't work, why it doesn't work. This is what he always keeps. This is something I also got from him in Japan. It was a different teacher, his methodology was, his way of teaching was different.
It's not very Japanese.
Yeah, in a sense. My wife, when he met him for the first time, he said, it's different. But you have the jitos. Because just as Japanese Aikido, yes, and that's good in a sense. And sometimes when I study both, our culture, East and West, we say, and maybe the best thing is to combine both ways of learning. But in his case, he's tried to explain, and he tries you to understand by yourself. Not only because I'm the teacher and you do what I say. This is it.
So now, president of Spain Aikikai, where do you go from here? What do you want to do?
Keep training. I don't like the word training. I like it. And practice. In Spanish, we say practice. It's doing Keiko once and every week, several times, and keep till I can 80, when maybe if I get to be a 90-year-old, maybe, so that I can continue. And inspired by my sensei is to keep also trying to understand, even to research myself. Trying to do things that maybe he never taught me. This is something, because he usually show you a way of entering, a way of doing. And then he says, do you see the different possibilities? Each step you do, and you have to see all the possibilities you have. It's like opening a fan. Don't see just one point. The point I'm maybe showing you, but then you go a step ahead and then see And another step, all the possibilities. So he's always insisted in that you see what could you do for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's very inspiring. Like, I had a lunch with a Zen priest, and he said that the teacher only develops you 50%. And then you take that 50% and then you develop yourself the other 50% of that 50%. You know, and that really is how it sounds like your experience with Endo Sensei, that he inspires you to try to move forward.
Yeah. Well, he has what we call a style, a way of doing. Sometimes even all the people follow Endo Sensei would say this Endo way. We don't even use this way. It's the Endo way. And so he shows that way. Or maybe he would say, I don't know if it's a goal or a place to go to. I mean, I don't know. But anyhow, this is the way. But in a sense, maybe it's like we have a very famous author, Antonio Machado, who said that there's no way, he said. You make the way as you are walking. This is really interesting. And sometimes when I say that Endo Sensei is a researcher, I think he's making, covered it, the way. Yeah. Because he's walking, and as you are walking, you develop, you tighten your way.
Yeah, I mean, so I think this is a good place to stop. But talking to you was really inspiring. You know, especially as a teacher, and it's so easy to become mentor. It's so easy to sit on your throne, and then nothing ever changes. And then we think that change is bad in traditional Japanese martial arts. But really, what you and Endo Sensei are saying is that change is good. And not only is it good, but it's necessary.
And I mean, it's same thing, different. Because we say the point of view. If you are always looking in this direction, you will see only these things. But sometimes you say, please look there and say, oh, different world. Here, oh, and there's another one here. There are 360 degrees around possibilities. And you move, you are still there. And if you find, oh, I like this, then you have to start working in that direction. Not stay here. I mean, not to be there. Even when you discover a new direction, you have to walk it. If you don't walk that direction, you don't have the real spirit. You have to do it. I mean, for me, Japanese culture is doing. Not only understanding, it's doing. Experience. This is, for me, the most important part. And I told you today, so it's learning not only with your, mind, but with your body. Your body must remember. Your body must do things. And Endo Sensei said, always, you have to learn Ishiki in order to become Moishiki. With conscience only, and then to become. So you practice and repeat and do things so that it's automatic with that second thought. And then it comes to the unconscious, This is what he says, the process of learning. And then another thing he always says is that you have to learn slowly, not go fast, slowly, so that your brain can learn exactly all the things you are doing. So say ishiki, and then slow, soft and slow. This is, and then, sometimes you do it really fast, because when it comes to the time. But in the process of learning, should be this. So try to do things so that your brain will catch everything. And repeat, so that, it goes to a different part.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope to interview you again sometime.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you all for listening and watching to this podcast. Thank you.